Welcome, everybody. August 29th. Hey, Dmitri. Welcome.
Yes, Steve.
Great to have everybody here on August 29th. Weather's cooled down somewhat in Europe. That's always nice. Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you came to start your company.
Well, this is not the first company for me. So my previous company was called Global Logic, and it was, pretty successful IT services firm. It was acquired by Hitachi like 2 years ago for 9 billion. So it's pretty sizable business at the moment when it was acquired. The reason I kind of created Influto was that I was thinking how can Global Logic was more successful in terms of marketing, and like specifically B2B marketing is, to me, is not very efficient. I started my career in advertising in consumer marketing, and I work with companies like Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Danone, this kind of like large consumer goods companies. And when we started Global Logic, my idea was that probably we should use kind of similar ideas that work for consumer marketing for B2B, but it didn't. So honestly, we built quite big company, but not thanks to the marketing effort. It's more thanks to sales and other things that we did. But marketing was not very efficient, frankly speaking. And that kept me thinking, what else could we do? How could we change what we're doing to make marketing truly work for B2B, to make it really drive sales, to make it have tangible impact on revenue? And that's basically how I came up with the concept of Influ.
Okay. So you start Influ 6 years ago now, right?
Yep.
So did you start off well capitalized then, I guess, with using part of your treasure chest from selling Global Logic to start the company?
Yes. Well, obviously, like if you start a new business, it's always have to have some, nothing goes as predicted. So you want to have some, savings, and to be sure that when things go hard, you still have some, backup plan.
Good. That way you can make sure you get a nice night's sleep. So you started 6 years ago, and the idea was to use advertising more effectively for B2B companies.
Yeah, exactly. So actually, I wasn't the only founder. My co-founder Vladimir, we kind of brainstormed about, like, I told him, advertising doesn't work for B2B, and it's kind of very disappointing because I love advertising as as a discipline, but also I think advertising itself is pretty, fascinating. I would say media and fascinating piece of art as well sometimes. So advertising can really go to the level that it can be a masterpiece, just like cinema or books, or like, I really love advertising. And honestly, it didn't work for us back in Global Logic times. And I shared this concern with my co-founder, and he said, but he said, "Mate, it's possible to solve." And I didn't believe him, honestly. So he had really interesting technical ideas. How can we potentially solve this problem? And the main problem was that you basically, you don't advertise to the people you want to advertise to, right? So you advertise to wrong people, wrong audiences. And this is the main reason why people hate advertising. Like, some people really hate advertising. I think the main reason for this is because they just see wrong advertising, right? So if advertising is not targeted towards you, it doesn't speak to your needs, it doesn't resonate with you, that's what makes you hate it, right? And his idea was, hey, but we can target specific individuals. You can actually deliver ads to specific people, just like you send emails or call people. And to me, it sounded impossible. So we had some ideas, how can we potentially build this, and we spent like 6 months trying to build this technology, and it turned to be working. And that's how Influto emerged.
Okay. So, I mean, often when I think of advertising, I think of that really on the early side of the sales cycle. But it sounds like with Influ2, from what I looked at your website, that it's really integrated into the whole sales and marketing process. Is that right? Or did
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So we really think that, I think again, like there are really different situations, and in consumer ads, your life, like your sales cycle is short, right? Like you don't even talk about sales cycles in consumer marketing or e-commerce, because you really sell your product within like minutes or hours. While in case of B2B, you can really spend 6, 8 months, 12 months selling your service or product. And then in this case, like the fact that marketing people only care about generating leads is insane to me, because lead generation is tiny piece of the whole effort, and you can't just you know mm, you know stand back and hand it off to salespeople and stop worrying about building this relationship as soon as there is some initial interest in the form of lead has been generated, right? So I mean, like the fact you have a lead is a starting point, and it's a long journey, and you want to support your sales process throughout the journey and help salespeople win these deals, not just generate leads. And yeah, and by the way, this is not something we thought about initially when we built Info2. Like the technology was just about how can we target specific individuals. But as we offered this to our clients and looked at how they use our technology, and we try to use our own technology ourselves, we realized that definitely marketing can drive sales, not just generate leads, but also drive sales pipeline and help to win deals by just continuing this influence throughout the sales journey.
Yeah. So I took some time and read some of your content and your success stories. I think as a former salesperson, what really interested me was they were talking about complicated sales cycles where you have multiple buyers. And so you could map out the buyers and begin influencing the different buyers at the different stages they are at the journey, and depending on what their interest was, whether financial side or what have you. And I think when you're in a really complex sales cycle, that's one of the things is kind of you want to be present in the account, omnipresent ideally, and it's hard to get FaceTime with all those people. So I guess using the platform, you're able to target them with the right content.
Exactly. And especially this is true when you think about the structure of your typical buying group. So when you do account planning, you think, okay, there's like, here's a champion that I know, for example, but also there are people in procurement. There are people like senior decision makers who will be making decision to allocate budget. Lots of gatekeepers throughout the process, and you just like when you do complex sales, you think about all these people and you design a buying group. It's virtually impossible to build relationship with these people outside of sales calls where they invited to, right? And obviously, like you talk to a champion and your champion supports you. You're lucky if you have two champions, but still you have senior team, you have finance, you have procurement, who like you. There's no way you can connect to these people in most cases, right? And if these people just read about your company, if these people read your, I mean, it could be just overall thought leadership content, read about how you think about the industry or the successful case studies, anything, any relevant content that just helps to build trust with these people is crucial, because these people, especially later in the sales process, they can become the gatekeepers that will prevent you from closing the deal. And if by that moment they know about your company, they trust your company, it's a huge thing, right? It's very hard to measure this impact,
Yeah.
because obviously it's like, but every exposure like this, every engagement with this later stage buying group members is crucial to make the deal successful. And by the way, we also measure this as well now, but we like spend like 6 years trying to understand how can you even tackle this problem.
Yeah, I was actually talking with someone on your team, and they were talking about that you guys are really data driven on the ROI side, and you're trying to show your customers, or you're able to show your customers how they can benefit from using the situation. What things are you tracking with, as far as on the data side, to show them?
Well, our initial idea was that we just need to track the engagements and pass this information to our clients, and they will be able to kind of make sense of what is happening. So basically, the initial offering was, hey, we can target the specific people, your prospects that you have in your Salesforce or HubSpot, and basically all the buying group members. And if someone is clicking on your ads, we will be able to tell who clicked on this ad. If someone is engaging with your ad, spending some significant time on the landing page and stuff like this, we will all have this information, all this information in your CRM.
Right.
So this is kind of core data infrastructure we provide to make these decisions and to make these models. But also on top of this, we realize that many customers just don't have enough time or discipline or resources to make sense of this data. So we kind of provide this kind of second layer. Okay, if you don't have time for this, fine. Here's how we think about your results and your buyer's journey of your buyers. And now we also provide what we call revenue analysis, where we just try to understand how this data connects to the revenue results. And if they manage to achieve some tangible impact on their sales pipeline, or actually manage to win some additional deals, we just help them to point, we point fingers to, hey, these deals that you won, like we really influence these deals, right? And again, like you can trace back to the specific engagement that we generated. So it's not just us claiming someone else success, but we can actually trace the specific engagements with specific people that we managed to influence, and that help to ultimately lead to a situation when they want this client.
So how would I target someone? Would I just like right click on their name in my CRM, have them get targeted under my ads, and I have their profile information and what have you?
Well, so I think we need to switch shoes a little bit, because normally it's done by marketing or revenue operations teams. So
Okay.
like as a salesperson, would probably want to have this kind of interface, but typically it is run by marketers or sales ops teams. And and from this standpoint, they can basically create a list in Salesforce, or they can actually pull the data from Influ2. So they can actually say, okay, inside Influ2, they can tell, okay, I care about people who work for this industry, or in this geography, or for these accounts, based on Salesforce data. Or they can say, okay, I just want to target everyone, all prospects of this specific BDR or sales rep, right? So basically, I want to help John Smith, to be more successful in his effort. So in this case, I just pull all the prospects that John is currently working on, and I will target ads to these people. So from marketing person standpoint, it's like the best thing you can do is just to help salespeople, work on their prospects. Either it's pipeline generation, like business development effort, or try to close the deals that they're already working on right now. Like in both cases, you just want to target all the prospects of specific BDRs or sales reps. So and in this case, you just say, okay, well, whoever John is working on, I will just target the same people.
Okay, interesting. Maybe target the prospects for your most successful salespeople too. You really want to accelerate the revenue. Get the good salespeople get the best leads. Where do you think this is going? Are you guys integrating AI at all into this?
Well, it's a pretty hard question for me, because, well, first, AI emerged as a term in marketing technology way before it became popular in other industries.
Yeah.
And like I think it's a marketing term more than the actual definition of the underlying technology.
Fair enough.
MarTech, was always bragging about using some AI, like since the inception probably.
Yeah.
And obviously, the recent development in deep neural networks did not add a lot, because the guys already used this term before. Right? So speaking about us, we also mentioned at the launch that we use AI, and by saying this, we meant that we use some mathematical models that help us to target specific individuals. And yes, we have some proprietary technology that you can call AI in a way, because it basically is built on the same technology stack and same ideas that you basically use for other types of AI products. In broader terms, yes, and we use it since even before it became popular and everyone started talking about this. And this is the reason why we don't say it anymore, right? Because it's like like if you recall the cloud, like 10 years ago, right? So everyone was talking about cloud until everyone started using cloud. Like you don't need to call it cloud anymore because everyone is in cloud, right?
Yeah,
So I think that's exactly what's happening in AI. Even if you don't say AI or don't use AI explicitly, you don't even know that your engineering team or your marketing team is already using this thing, right? So there is no need to do anything additionally, and ultimately it will appear as a part of your solution infrastructure, technology, consciously or unconsciously, because this has become a standard infrastructure for most companies.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of a rhetorical question on my part. But everyone's always trying to build a smarter mousetrap. That makes sense. I was just thinking more on like the predictive side for perhaps for forecasting the possibility of closing sales and stuff like that. It seemed like it could be really interesting looking at if people within an organization are interacting at all and how that influences eventually sales. But I'm sure you guys are already looking at that quite intently.
Yes, yeah. I think like the beauty of our situation is that we have a lot of data, and this is kind of for nerdy people, this is kind of amazing thing to have.
Yeah.
And because we managed to spend a lot of time and effort trying to help our clients to understand, if the program was successful, and what exactly helped them to close more deals and what was happening, and like that's a lot, right? So like we need to spend a lot of time helping our clients make sense of what is happening. We have a lot of, I would say, and again, like currently we really have data for more than 100 clients, and we can look at different industries, different scale of businesses, different situations. And yeah, we see some common patterns, and I think in itself, it's pretty interesting. And we're planning to have a series of, content pieces where we just share common insights that we see across different clients. And yeah, speaking about buying groups and how many people you need to engage, and how many buying group members you want to target, these kind of things. There are a lot of interesting, data has been collected over this time, and now is a good time for us to start sharing this, not just using for our advice for our clients, but also just to share with the broader market. I think in the nutshell, I think what Forrester and Gartner talks about buying groups, and I think they talk about this more like how the client think about it. So basically, the way the data that, for example, Forrester bases their research on is basically they ask their clients what they think about it, and they just provide some collective analysis of like what the industry thinks about buying groups and how they want to tackle this, right? While we actually have the real dynamics of different buying groups across different clients and industries, and it's kind of underlying data that our clients use, and kind of we
And you can
leverage
actually
this.
see behavior. Yeah,
exactly. So it's not just opinions of marketing directors or sales leaders. It's actual data and actual behavior of their prospects, and it does confirm what the guys talk about. So I think the guys were kind of very smart, and I think they kind of predicted what we see in our data, that like buying groups work. People talk to each other, and we again, like we have data that proves that buying groups is not just like an abstract idea. Buying group members really talk to each other, and and you can easily see it by the fact that you can engage one buying group member, and suddenly another buying group member becomes a champion of in this deal, and they clearly talk to each other. That's how this deal emerged. Typically, you talk about like a target senior person, and then you get a junior manager that comes to talk to you and have this initial conversation. And again, like it's not just us, but we see across different clients how that works. And or if you influence multiple buying group members, the conversion rate goes up, and you can actually see some improvement in conversion rates. You try to make your conversation multi-threaded, try to talk to multiple buying group members. So yeah, it's like everything that was like kind of, currently it exists as a concept, as an idea. We have data that proves that actually that something is happening and it works.
Well, it's funny because I remember when I was learning about sales, they would talk about, to build arguments based on the different profiles you would be meeting with in a sales meeting. But at that point, when you're in the sales meetings, most of the decisions have already been taken. So you guys are doing a lot of influencing on the front end before they've actually and speeding along the decision. So it seems to be a good place to invest. Is there a certain niche, a certain type of client that best benefits from what you guys do? I mean, do they need to have like a certain total lifetime customer value, complicated sales cycles? Who best benefits from you guys? You have a profile? What's your ideal customer profile?
Yeah, the harder the sales process is, the more sophisticated, the more complex, the longer it is, and the better it is defined. I think, part of this is like if an organization, they have sophisticated sales process, but it's just because their process is not defined well or not structured well. Probably it's a different reason for this. Yeah, probably in this case, it's kind of premature to use any additional technology. They need to fix this kind of core basic sales process first. But yes, the more sophisticated situation is, the harder it is to sell, and the better the process is defined, the more efforts they put in, they will see more benefits by using our technology to boost it. Like very, very simple observations. Like our job is to boost sales pipeline or boost sales results, but you need to have some sales pipeline, some sales results to boost, right? So if you start from zero, probably it's too early to use any additional technology. You need to start selling.
My math isn't too good, but if you do 2x 0, I think it's still 0.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay, good. We're on board there. What was I going to ask? I should have zapped my question. What about? I mean, can people use this out of the box, or is this something that they should plan on spending time with a customer success manager or someone who's on your customer success?
Well, it really depends on on their kind of, if they have an idea in terms of how they want to leverage technology. I think obviously like our customer success people cannot tell them what is the best for them to do. They can share the experience of other clients, and that's kind of critical. So I think if you don't want to guess in terms of how to build your programs the best way, or experiment yourself, you can just ask our CSMs, okay, what did work for your clients before, and they will gladly share what worked and what didn't work, because we've seen a lot of cases when it didn't work, right? And why we understand why it didn't work. Obviously, our job is to deliver as to specific people and track what happened, but then the question is like, how do you leverage this type of technology, and what is the best use of it, right? And we have a lot of best practices across like our clients. Some of our clients are actually 6 years with us, so they try different things and they know what works. So like, why not asking our CSMs, and they will gladly share what worked with these customers and what made them successful.
Interesting. So you guys are 6 years in. How has your company grown? You started out 2 co-founders, and how many people are you today?
It's more than 100 people right now.
Wow. Okay. Great.
Big team.
And are you still private, or what are the next steps for your company?
I think we still kind of like, it's a long way for us to grow. I mean, the market itself is pretty large, and like we see kind of long-term future for us to continue growing within this market. And also we believe so currently we mostly focus on high-tech companies simply because they're faster to adapt new technologies, and they're smarter in terms of sales process. While if you talk to kind of traditional industries like manufacturing or financial services, these guys are just much slower in terms of, and we had some cases. It's not in the US. It's like there was some UK client with like huge insurance company, and they still think if they need to adopt CRM system for them. so obviously, these kind of companies, they kind of slower, more traditional, but still it's potentially a huge market, and it's like it tells us it's kind of. I think we will stay private, and we'll continue to grow together with the market, and help like starting from high tech companies, but also we will help more traditional companies to adopt our technology feature as well. So it's a long journey for us. Yeah.
Well, right now in the SaaS industry, of course, we're all aware there's quite a bit of turbulence, and people are really looking on return on capital. It's like whatever we're going to invest in, this is going to generate real returns, and the focus on revenue, reducing customer acquisition costs, sales cycle time, all these things, they're just so hugely critical. So I'm sure people will be reaching out to you, speak with you. Are you going to be going to B2B Rocks on September 19th?
Yeah, my team will be there. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make this. But yeah, actually, I think we have a couple of team members that joining B2B Rocks.
Great. Well, listen, thank you so much for your time. We just have 2 more questions we'd like to ask our guests, which is one, do you have a funny story, maybe something about starting your second company, something that surprised you?
Well, yeah, I think the funny thing that we talk about, it's like we really like the main struggle of our clients, and obviously like that's something I learned from early times in my first job in advertising, was that if you want to be successful account manager in advertising agency, you want to make help your client to make their career. So if you help your marketing manager who you work with to make their career, make them successful in their career, that's how you become a good account manager for your client, right? So I still have this mindset. So we help our clients to be successful in their jobs and achieve and prove the job was successful. And I think the biggest challenge for them is just their cooperation with sales organization, because like these are in B2B, sales. Most of the companies are sales-driven organizations, and marketing teams need to prove their presence, their need, and to prove they're useful, and prove the impact on revenue, and they constantly struggling to prove. And
there's a ton of pressure.
A lot of pressure, especially these days. And we have a joke about this actually, that like whenever there's a good successful close one deal, then it's because salespeople work hard. If it's lost deal, then it's because marketing people didn't help.
Marketing,
right?
yeah.
So, yeah. So yeah,
I believe that until I moved to marketing. Absolutely. Yeah, that's really funny. Thank you. Okay, last question for today. Do you have a favorite rock song right now? Because we're B2B Rocks.
Yes, of course. Well, actually, I play hard rock. I play bass guitar.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. So, and my favorite song is Metallica's "For Whom the Bell Tolls." This is the first song I learned with my son. Actually, we play together. And this is the first time we played together on stage, so it's still my favorite song.
That's great. So just let me tell the audience really quickly. So they have, I think, a band in-house at their company. So they play music, and I think when you guys have get-togethers for all your employees, I think you get to play some songs, and that's great.
Yep.
Listen, thank you so much for your time, Dmitri.
Thank you, Steve.
And look forward to seeing your team at B2B Rocks on September 19th.
Yeah, looking forward to it too. Thanks.
Bye-bye. Really interesting guy. All right, second company. Looks like they're going to be successful as well, so kudos to him. We don't have anything planned for next week. For the moment, we'll see if we can get a guest lined up, but for the moment, nothing. And in any case, if we don't see you, that's fine. And if we do, that would be even better. Have a great day.